So I have a tank that's leaking, okay? Very, very slight. Very, very slight. But I've already emptied it, so I'm just taking a photo of a similar setup so I can get to where I was. I forgot about the camera, and I'm just trying to pay attention to getting the fish out while they're still in good shape, you know, so I'm just focusing on that right now. So we can go over there and look at it. It's disappointing, but I use the stand that goes with the tank. I use the material that goes underneath the tank to keep it from breaking, but it's nonetheless, the tank is leaking out of this corner here. I don't feel any water there right now. I don't know where it's coming from exactly, but I'm under warranty and under, you know, I wasn't in very long. So I'm going to take it back, return it, because it's leaking. I have fish, a lot of fish in here that I had put in. I had used materials from another tank for cycling purposes, etc. So I emptied it all out. I put everything into a container right here, the fish included. Put everything in there. You know, I can drain this out a little bit at a time and move the fish back in when I get the new setup set up, which I'm doing right here. This will be the new tank. I'm just getting it prepped. I do dirted tanks with sand caps, so I'll have to get sand cap in there and get it all set the way I want. I have stones. I have gravel, material, sand, top layers, etc. I have the light on there now so I can see a little bit. I know it stresses the fish out a little bit more than it should, but I need to see them. I took as much water out as I could to make catching them all easier, and then I'm going to take it from there. Just going to get them all out, and then we'll start the camera up again at that time. Okay, see you in a little bit. Okay, quick recap. Got all the fish out. It's empty. I got as much water out as I could. I have a couple containers of the gravel and sand so I can get some, save the beneficial bacteria in the original aquarium water. Siphoned it out with my siphon. Took my time. Got all the plants that I hang on the sides and pond water. Floating plants in pond water. The filter that I was using I put here. Threw some snails everywhere I could. Put them in here, put them in there, put them everywhere. So I've used my my trusty gallon container to get the rest out, and that's what I'm going to do now. With the siphon, I'm going to get the rest of it out. Got the light still on there so I can see what I'm doing. And that's about it. All the fish, shrimp, everything, all in there. All right, so I'm going to pull out some of that hardscape because I'm going to reuse it, some of it. And I wanted to save all the bacteria that I possibly could, so that's why it's where it's at. So again, let me see if I can do this single-handedly. Rather not. I'll put it into my container. All right, so there's the siphon sitting on the bottom. Here's the container. Try to get more water out. It's clogging, so I'm gonna have to do that without the camera on, but I'll come back. We'll see you in a little while. Okay, here we are. Again, trying to work with this camera, but I had put, I use dirted tanks and I use sand to cap the dirt. So I put 1 inch of dirt down. I took some of the dirt and muck and stone and everything, the sand, you know, and some of the stones, and mixed that in with the soil that's below the sand to try to keep some of the beneficial bacteria moving in and being available within the tank. So it's white it's sloped, and I have gravel to add, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to start the hardscape now. I did save plants from the other tank that was leaking in order to get some of the beneficial bacteria, because beneficial bacteria basically is always going to be on the surface of things like stone, hardscapes, wood, your plants, gravel, all of it is going to have it. Your filters, which I saved, the sponges, I saved some water, some of the containers, nothing's getting exposed to chlorinated water. It's all going to be strictly the water that was in the leaking tank. And now we have this one here that I'm going to start the build on. I have to get my tripod, kind of set it up so we can do that, okay? So I will be back in a little bit. So here are 3 of the stones I took from my prior tank, and I don't want them to dry out too much. Obviously, I have beneficial bacteria on it. It's probably all inside the pores, but I have to move relatively quickly because it's a rescue, not a beginning build. So I need to do that. I'm in my aquarium clothes, so please, I apologize. I don't think I like this one stone, so I'm going to maneuver it around a little bit. I do like the 2 in the back right now, and the one in the front just seems to be too much of an angle here. If you can see it, I can't see what you're seeing. I could spin this around just 1 second. Yeah, I could spin that around. I can see it now. You can see my hand. Yeah, so here I am. I'm in my junkies, and I'm going to move this stone around a little bit, and until I get it the way I like it. And then from there, I'm going to start putting some plants down, but I'm going to get some water in there as well, so that I can splash, you know, basically splash. So here I go. I'm going to move this rock around. I don't know if you can see that from where you're at. Maybe more like this. Maybe up like this. Maybe a little bit more like that. It's kind of flat on that one side. Makes me want to put it back down, but maybe just the direction needs to change. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just real simple. I like simple. There is a little space there of sand for sand, like a little cave, but that's basically it. I'm going to stick some plants all in the middle there and let them come up, you know, maybe some crypts or stem plants, and see how I can get this going. But in the meantime now, I'm just going to get some water in it, and I'll come back. So I'm a dope. My big container that I usually use to fill or use for water has all the fish and the plants and what have you in it, with the water and a filter running. So I have to use a 1 gallon container of water that I put stress coat in, a little bit at a time. I just use the bottom portion of that, just tiny bit for now, because I'm going to add it once the tank gets a little bit more full. But I just want to let you know, so it's going to take me a little time. Again, I got to do it gallon by gallon, so I will be back as soon as I have the water portion to where I want it. I'll see you in just a moment or so, because this is the movie business. This is making video. We can edit, splice, cut, do whatever we need to do, and time just seems to fly. See you in a bit. Of course, I put a little paper towel down. It's getting splashed up a little less. It's not as easy to see what I'm doing, but I just put a little paper towel in there in a bundle. Once there's a lot of water, I can lay it flat. But for now, I just want something to pour on. So I just kind of make a little bundle of the paper, pour the water on it. Keeps it from moving the sand around, etc. So I just wanted to throw that in real quickly, and I will be back. So there you go. I have some water in there, and just enough. It's going to get soaked up a little bit more. I forgot to wet the soil down before adding it. Again, I'm in a hurry. This is a rescue, not a new build. And I'm just trying to move along as quickly as I can so I can get the fish back in my back in here, and fingers crossed, just get everything, keep everything nice and moist, dechlorinate it, and then I'm going to be adding Aqua Essential, which I'll point out as well. That was recommended by MD Fish Tanks, and that was a great recommendation. Kills all any ammonia, nitrate, dechlorinates as well, but you can use Stress Co for just dechlorination. But this is how I'm doing it, and I'm moving as quick as I can. Again, this was all due to a leaking aquarium. Okay, so it needs to be done a little differently, a little bit more of a urgency to it. Now, as you can see, it's cloudy. There's a mix of some moam and things in there. All that I got from the leaking aquarium, I brought into this. And I'm okay with it. I don't mind that it's going to be a little unclear at first. The filters will take care of all that. Just take a night or two, and it'll be crystal clear again in no time. And I want the beneficial bacteria, and I like the fact that I have some water in there now to keep the stones wet and keep the bacteria alive, hopefully. I see a snail made its way in there already. Nice little colored maroonish one. Good for him. And I got plants again that have beneficial bacteria on them as well. And it's starting to take some shape. I got to move quickly. Again, this is a rescue, so from a leaking aquarium. And it looks good. I like it. So far, so good. It's going to be a pretty tank when it's all said and done. And I will, of course, be showing it to you when it is. Until then, I'm just going to take a little break. I'm going to start getting some plants in. And we'll start filming our video, recording some more. So I need to get some of my trusty aquascaping tools, okay, just to be able to put some plants in that I saved from the leaking tank. I put them in a stone. I'm going to take them out of the stone. I got a piece of grass here that I saved. I don't know what format exactly I'm going to do this in. I do have some wisteria in the container as well. I have I have a lily. So I want to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this. But I think I have a good idea, and I'm going to get started on that. So I can keep this running while we're doing it. I'm just going to place the plants right there, and I'm going to take them out. I'm going to bundle this to one big giant bundle. Sometimes it's easier just to use your hand, which I'm going to do here. I'm going to put these back here. And that's good. One of them didn't take, and it's something I don't want anyway, so I'm glad I caught it. Not at this moment, I don't want it. I have another plant here that I can get in as well. I sometimes just like using my fingers and placing my plants, and it works pretty well. They have a little bit of roots to them, so it's kind of nice. I have this piece of grass here. I don't know if you can see it. I hope I'm not blocking anything. I'll try to get to a side here. I have this piece of grass as well, so I think I'll just stick this right here in the sand. So I keep forgetting I have a mic on me. I keep wanting to look at the camera, but I'm mic'd, so that's pretty good. And that lily, the lily I believe I'm going to stick right in the middle. I'm going to try to get that out now. I do have a couple little pieces of grass here for the forefront or on the sides. I'm going to use my tool with that, kind of tiny. Again, just trying to save what I can. And I do have some gravel to put in there, so I think I'm going to do that now real quickly. And I will be back. I have to go out in the garage for that. I will be back in a moment, okay? I like to use stones because gravel because it helps lock the plants down. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so here I have some gravel, and I'm going to just kind of spread it around a little bit, kind of let it look natural. I think it kind of matches a little bit, might be a little off, but again, this is an emergency build, and I got to move pretty quickly, so I'm using what I have. and still trying to make a nice design. And I think I'm accomplishing that just fine. Again, just spread it out a little bit in various places. Just kind of let it be natural. And it looks kind of nice already. I like it. I like how it's pouring down here into this area. And don't need a lot of it. Don't need a lot of it. Just want things locked in. So kind of nice. Kind of keep the forefront the way it is. See, it helps lock. It really helps lock the plants down when you have some heavy stones around them. Helps quite a bit actually. So that's good for now. Happy with that. Got that little piece of grass again I'm going to stick back in now that I have the gravel. Should work nicely. And then I want to get the lily in. And there you go. I know MD loves to do his stem plants last. He gets all of his epiphytes, do I call it? Epiphytes? I believe that's what they say. I think that's what you call it. Here's a little piece of wisteria. It's clinging to something. See if I can get that to do something over here. You know, things seem to do real well. And again, I got this, I'm just going to reach down and grab it. I have this lily, and it's really nice. And here it is, got a lot of roots. You can see, I'll show it to you. 1 second. Show it to you in 1 second. So here we go. All right. I'm gonna have to get that pushed down in there with my tool. And it will go and find, those roots will seek out and find. Those roots will go out, seek and find some more soil and some more nutrients with its roots, and I'm just going to try to get them in there the best I can. If some break, they break, not a big deal, because it will find its way. Not shy about it. So I just want to get it in. Sometimes just using your fingers a little better, and in this case that's the case. So there you go. Again, the roots will find its way. This will all float up when it's done. Hope you can see that. Just having a little trouble getting that guy in there. For some reason, that does have quite a bit of root. I'm hoping that's going to look real nice. And again, just trying to save everything that has some beneficial bacteria on it. So this is a good way. And hope you can see that just fine. I think you can. Looks real nice. You can't really see what it's going to look like yet, but you will real soon. And here again is some more wisteria I'm going to grab. So I'm going to pull that over here. And sat right on something. Sat right on something that's nice and wet. Yeah, poke myself in the eye. Sit on something that's wet. You know how it goes, right? Because I'm screwing around. And I'm not paying attention. So here's some wisteria. I like it. This one has some roots, so I'm gonna try to put this in. Again, back here. Let's see what happens. Yep. Let's get that in. That's good. We'll straighten everything out when we can. I got quite a bit of wisteria. It was all stuck to my stone. I thought that was really neat. You know, it was moving around the tank pretty nicely, and that's how it was doing it. It was just, you know, it was branching out or running out and attaching itself. Thought that was pretty cool. So I'm going to put some more back here, some more of it. Get it in there, nice. Try to keep it clustered together if I can, like a little jungle. Be nice for it. And again, I apologize for camera angles and things. Never built a tank on video before. This is my first time. So now again, I'm doing it very quickly. And I think I'm gonna balance this out with some of this on the other side. Some maybe in the back here. Okay. Again, sometimes just using your finger is best. And this stuff seems to want to find its way around. I like the purple on it, it's really pretty. And I got some nice plants in there now. I think I should be okay. See, here's one that's stuck to some branches. And I mean, it's really got itself on there. Look at that. I mean, this sucker's just going everywhere. I didn't realize just how much this spreads, this wisteria. Really kind of cool, if you ask me. Kind of like it. I like what it's doing. So we'll get this all locked down. Get this up here. All right, trying to give it a little something, something, and looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Maybe right here. The wisteria and that lily. Again, I'm moving quickly. I'm using what I got. I want the beneficial bacteria. I got to get some more water in here. So I do have some sticks I could use. I think I might just stay with the rocks. I'm gonna see how that looks. And again, I'll be right back with you, okay? See you in a moment. Okay, so here we are now. The water's back in the new tank. The lily looks pretty good. It's still gonna have to grow up to the surface and what have you, and I don't have the floating plants in yet. I know I need to put some more plants in there, and I have them. That's not gonna be a problem. I have a separate container, big plastic container with a light on it that I keep plants in for this kind of thing. And you know, I'll take care of that. But for right now, this is the water's back in, looking pretty good. Next thing I'm going to be doing is seeing if I want wood in there. I'll do my tests. I'll let you know about all of those things. I want to be able to add the Aqua Essential, which I'll still show you, and before I put the fish in, and I'll run a test on it and just make sure there's no ammonia, no nitrite, and the nitrates are okay. So we're going to be doing that. And the fish are sitting in their own water with a little pump in it that's moving the water around, so they're getting air, and they should be fine. I'm going to leave them in there for a little bit. It's nice and dark, and that usually keeps them pretty stress-free. So this looks pretty. I like it, but I know I need more plants. I'd like to get some grass growing, maybe in the foreground, something along those lines. I will figure that out. But for now, that's where we're at. Thank you. I will be back with updates on this rescue of a leaking tank. Thank you. Okay, we're back. I'm going to be adding the fish. I want to get the filter in there, back in there and running, get it cleaned and all that, and then I'll have that on video as well. But I want to point out, I use API products. This is Aqua Essential. This dechlorinates as well as balances or gets rid of ammonia levels, nitrite, and keeps nitrates all on a nice balance. It's a great product. So before you put fish in, I would highly recommend using it. Again, I use the stress coat to do the dechlorination as I'm doing this, but I'm going to add this in there for the ammonia nitrites specifically, and nothing wrong with nitrates being somewhat moderated. And then Quick Start, API Quick Start. This is bacteria. You'll add this in here. I know I've taken a lot of things out, so the bacteria levels will be less. I did, just as a reminder, I did put the reason it looks a little not as clean as it was when I first started the build, it doesn't look as clean, is because I had added, I had put aside a lot of sand from the leaking aquarium, which was quite balanced, and it's sad that it was leaking. It really got into a nice cycle. The levels were really good. It was very clean, very clear, and it's a shame that it did leak, but it did. So needed to be replaced. It wasn't that old, It's just a defect, and that happens. And it wasn't leaking when I tested it at first, and then 10 days to 2 weeks later, a couple of weeks, whatever, it was leaking. So it had to be done, and what have you. But the old, so I had put a lot of bacteria back in with the sand that was in the leaking tank, and that should really help get it balanced again, get the cycle going along. But I'm going to be introducing the fish, and I'm going to be introducing putting the filter back in. I'm going to clean everything up, and then I will be back. Okay? Okay, so I forget where I left off exactly because I'm doing this in little takes, but I want to get the filter in there, and I'm going to need to unplug it and get it all set up. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to come in front of the camera. I apologize, but nonetheless, I got it, and I'm going to get this back into the tank. All right, so I just got a little assembly here. I got to figure out how I want this flow to go. I use a little bar, so I gotta figure out how I want it. Kind of like that. This is kind of cool. See, here it is. I'm just trying to stay over top of this container. All my fish are in there. They're being good. They're hanging out. I got this little bar. I like to use these little filters. I don't think you really need much more than that. It's black, so I have a black background on this, so you won't really see the system. This is like a $12 filter. It does the trick. I have to change it now and then and just slide it off, slide it back in, snap it apart, take everything out, squish out the filters. But again, the beneficial bacteria on here is so valuable for me, so it's really nice. But I'm gonna put it back on, and I think I'm gonna go over to the far side here. And I can't because I got plants that I put in. A few things came off, so I'm just going to clean up a little bit. I like to keep it angled down, and I like to have it out of the water initially when I first set the tanks up to keep air, because there's a lot of air then going into the water for the fish, and I think it really helps with ammonias and things like that, or any little spikes. Just keep it nice and oxygen enriched. Just want to get out any little particles that may have come off that. I got some snails swimming around. I'm going to put some floaters in there soon for them, so they have something to attach themselves to. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for vegetation to, they float to the top. They eat the biomatter, biofilm, and basically go around looking for algae and little dead parts of plants, etc. And they're valuable to me when it comes to your fish tanks. So I like having them in there. I think they're fabulous. I just have a little tangle in my cord, not so bad. So again, here it is. It's a little foggy. I'm going to put a clarifier on it once I get the pump going. I'm going to turn it back on now. So excuse me for 1 second. And there it goes. It's running. As you can see, there's quite a bit of flow coming out of it. And I can bring it down just a little bit. It's pretty strong right now. It'll lessen as the sponge gets dirty. But it's a good little filter, and I like the fact that it aerates the water the way it does. I will eventually put it down further into the tank so you don't see it. So that's step one. The light's there, the light's on. I got a couple planters I'm going to grab. I want to stick back in there. Really nice. Same way I had them before. I still have some of the water. It doesn't mean anything though. But for example, I like to put these little hanging pots in there. And the plants pick up, the plant roots are in, and they pick up any extra nitrates. The nitrites, they really like that. They feed on it. And it keeps the tank nice and balanced pretty quickly, helps cycle it quick. So now I have some plants in there again. I have the lotus looks nice in there. It will actually grow and get to where the leaves are a flat surface. It will also help with keeping the floaters, since they have roots that go down into the water. You know, they kind of hang down. You'll see that in a minute. Kind of keeps the lotus kind of keeps everything kind of contained from spinning around, because floating plants, the floaters, they really like to be in almost stagnant water, kind of still. But again, you can see some gas exchange. Again, I forgot to wet the soil, so there's going to be some exchange, some settling. That's okay. I've forgotten so many times now, and all my tanks are fine. Really didn't mean anything. They do like to have you wet it first, but I don't. So there we are. I have it in there. Now I'm going to add, like I said, quick start with the bacteria, and I'm going to add a couple scoops of Aqua Essential. Then I'm going to do a test on the water, see how it's doing. All right, 1, 2, and then I'm going to put in some beneficial bacteria once that moves around a little bit. So it doesn't take very long, because it's the pressure is pretty good. Water's moving pretty good. And again, I like it for the aeration. I really do, and this will clean up very quickly. I'm going to finish this video, this rescue video. I'm going to put 2 of these in. Quick start. This is the beneficial bacteria. All right, so they're in there. Everything's all good, and I will, I'm going to start working on getting the fish in. That's next. Okay, I'm going to have to get the fish, and I'm going to introduce them into the tank. Fingers crossed. Everything looks pretty good. I don't think I forgot anything, other than I see that lotus wants to come up out of that sand again, so I'm going to have to go back in there and fix that before I do the fish. So let me take care of that lotus, get that permanently anchored in. I'll get all the fish gathered, and I'll turn this back on when we're ready to introduce. Okay, getting ready to introduce the fish. Kind of fooling around here, forgot to mic myself up. I'm all set. In they go. You see that? A lot of debris. Hi! Had that tank so nice and clean. I'll just have to scoop everything out again. Not a big deal. More importantly, getting these fish in there. So I just take a net. I have them in a container. I'm going to pour that container into the net with all the fish. They are all going to get into this net, and then I'm going to dump it in. There they all go, all of them. Yep. As far as I can tell, they're all in. All the fish, and here they go. Make sure there aren't any stuck in here flapping around. Yep, there's one. There's one. Get him by hand. They're so hard to grab. Got 2 of them actually. So difficult to grab. Get them in the water as quick as possible. Come on, what is that? Is that shrimp? I think that might be a shrimp. If it is, I'm not that concerned. Only they can stay out of water a little longer. Be all right. Yeah, it's a shrimp. It's a shrimp, all right. Gotta make sure they don't flick themselves. Over, get him in there. He's a little darker than the others. Well, there they go. You got some snails, you got some fish. Tried to get as many as I could back in. Spread this out. don't want to destroy anything if I can avoid it. But I have a lot of snails in there again now, so I'm just going to try to scoop them all up. Try to scoop them all up. Not make a problem. Gosh, so many. It's incredible. These ram's horns, they really propagate. I want to get the pretty ones for sure, the nice orange ones. Orange and burgundy, so pretty. Get them back in, best I can. So there they go. We'll start moving around the tank. So I'll get everything going. Looks good. Now let's put in some floaters. Get those in. Pulled these out before too. Got some good sized floaters in here. I'm telling you, they like it when it's nice and flat, nice and level. That's what they like. Try to get the plants all spread out, all nice. Seems to be doing good. I'm just gonna put them all in. Get it all organized later. Just want everything to kind of give the shrimp places to hide. They love to hang on the plants up top. Get them places, get them all in there. Got some more snails here. Get those out. So, going along good. So far, so good. Let's get them in. And we'll clean everything up. Probably should have clean the tank up before I put the floaters in, right? So I'll take them back out when we're not live. Get everything nice and clean. Come back, I'll add my clarifier. And this fish tank business is hard work. I mean, it's a lot harder work than I ever imagined, and but I enjoy it so much. It's just so worth it. I do the best I can with what I've got. So here we are. We got our fish in. They seem to be doing all right. I don't see anything behaving poorly or flaring around or swimming upside down or straight up in the air or zipping around. They seem to be okay. They're basically in a new environment, so they need to get used to that. I'll come back for the last shot in a little while, and then I'm going to clean everything up. And then when this all clears from the clarifier and everything, I'll take another shot. That may not be till tomorrow, but I will, and then I'll finish this video. So there's the rescue. New tank from a leaking tank. A lot of material, a lot of beneficial bacteria moved. Same filter, plants, everything. The boxes all have the beneficial bacteria on them. And hopefully we don't get any blooms. Everything stays nice and level. I'll just keep checking it. I'll do the test kits. I checked, everything seemed to be nice and level. That Aqua Essential is fabulous from API. So I highly recommend that. And I will be showing the last piece in just a little bit. So here's the tank. I let it sit all night. It's still got a little bit of powder. There's some of the particulates floating around. There's tiny little powder particles that just kind of, from the sand and the bought substrate, the whiter white. I do crush eggshells and put them in there to just get the pH up a little bit for the snails and the shrimp. So the fish are swimming around. They're doing great. Rescued the leaking tank, replaced it with an identical tank, and changed the layout, of course. So that's kind of cool, but there it is. Looks pretty good to me. And I will take one more shot Meanwhile, I'm going to go start producing this video on how to rescue a leaking tank. I think it's a really valuable piece. You got to move quickly sometimes because you never know what's going to happen with the water, the glass, the tank. It could fall apart. It could start to really spray. It could come undone. I saw somebody who had a leaking tank and they were afraid to stand in front of it in case it blew up, like more or less popped right out and came at them because the water was starting to come out of the tank quicker and quicker, and they were afraid it was going to go. But they just put some tape on the tank to keep it together. It seemed to have worked, but nonetheless, when you have a leaking tank, you have to be prepared to move quickly. You got to make decisions. I kept as much beneficial bacteria in as I could. I used some of the old substrate in here. It's in there right now. I used the same filter, some of the plants, the stones that all have beneficial bacteria on them. Seems to be doing great. Fish are swimming. They seem to be happy. And again, it's early in the morning. Let the filter run all night. I didn't use any floss to catch those particulates. I think I may have already said that, but here we are. New tank. I got one more little video to take of it when it's completely clear, but boy, it looks pretty good right now. Very pretty. I'm enjoying it. Hope you do too. Okay, this tank has cleaned up pretty good now. It's just the next morning. It's clearing out pretty quickly, but it's going to take maybe another day or two, and I don't really have time to sit here for that long of a period of time, so I'm just going to go with what I got. It's pretty clear, pretty clean. Rescued a tank that was leaking by getting a new one since it was worth it. This is a 14-gallon cube. And there are some of the shrimp, like I said in a video, hanging up top. You got some of the snails also floating around or grabbing onto the roots of the floating plants. Again, the shrimp love hanging out up top, and they use it as a hiding place. They will also hide back in various places, like in there, and they'll find little nooks and crannies, maybe even dig out a little spot. But they kind of like it. Plants are doing great. They're all standing up. The lily's starting to come out, as well as the fish are really swimming around and seem to be taken to the tank quite well. Keep an eyeball on it and make sure that it's fine, and I don't see any spiking or any ill behavior of the fish since it was just changed. I do need more plants. I will be adding some red plants. I just need to get some clippings from some other plants that I've already trimmed, and as soon as they grow back some, I'll clip them again. I'll put some in here, and it'll have a nice little red hue to it in the back, and that'll be also really beautiful. So again, save the tank, save the day. I hope this was helpful, and please subscribe to the YouTube, to my channel. I really appreciate that. I'm just trying to get this all going. I will get better with my videos. I will get better with my content, but doing pretty good. Really enjoying it. Love the trade. Love the hobby, and really looking forward to future both educational and enjoyable videos. Till then.